Welcome Sci-Fi Channel and Sci-Fi.com viewers to the after show. You know him as Mindset, but today we have with me Phil. Hey Phil.
Hey Feedback, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm not happy to see you.
Well, and I'm not happy to be here.
But I do have some questions for you.
Okay.
You know, you were in the group of the very first set of auditions that were up on Sci-Fi.
The
Miami
auditions.
ones.
Yep.
And I saw your audition. When the guy asked you, what's your real name, you wouldn't tell him.
I wouldn't tell him.
That was very impressive to me, because I said, okay, this is a guy that totally sticks to his guns.
Yeah, and I did stick to my guns. That was what I did today, and to a large degree, that was why I was kicked off. And I don't think that was the right call. I think I made the right call there.
B-E-R-A-T-E. I will not play your games. That is how it is spelled.
Tell me what happened in that moment, like when you made that decision.
You know, you're always trying to figure out, what's the catch.
Right.
In this. And it turned out there really wasn't one. It was really kind of a boring challenge. It was a spelling bee that they wanted to dump honey on us. It's a little Nickelodeon for me, if you ask me. But so, and I thought maybe that was what we were supposed to do.
What if it weren't bees that were harmless? What if it were something else that were more harmful?
Well, here's kind of my take on it. When you've got, a soldier, let's say, who's captured, behind enemy lines, and they're going to put him under threat of death and physical harm and through mental torture, you're going to want your soldiers to stand up for what they believe in, regardless of what harm they're put through. That is a hero, And so if as heroes, as soon as someone captures us, puts us in a cage, with bees or lasers or acid, I don't even know, and all of a sudden we're supposed to start misspelling words for her own personal validation. It's not my idea of what a hero is, and I don't think it's very many people's idea of what a hero is, quite frankly. A superhero team needs to have the same ideals as any individual superhero does. And so if you've got a team that's so concerned about the other members of its team being safe, and you're willing to sacrifice your ideals for that, then you're ineffective as a superhero team. And so as a superhero, I felt like I needed to trust that my allies were going to be courageous, that they were as willing to face danger as I was, and that was what I had in mind when I made my decision.
Do you agree with Stan's statement that it was prideful? And just the point of this is so that I can get what you really feel about it. And that, don't worry about it. Stan's not going to be upset, if you disagree.
No, and Stan can be upset with me. It's not a big concern of mine. Of the 7 sins, pride is probably mine. I'm a prideful person, and but no, I think I made a level-headed and a reasonable decision about this tactic, and that's what it was. It was a tactic. It wasn't because I felt like some point of pride or something. It wasn't pride. It wasn't.
Mindset.
And right up until they called everyone else up to the red blocks, and I wasn't on one of them. Before that point, I was convinced that was it. I was going to be the first one kicked off.
Why did you think you would be the first one kicked off?
Mostly because I'm paranoid.
How can you not be?
Right. No. And I felt like I missed so much. Other people, spotted the old lady in trouble. They spotted the guy with the boxes. No one spotted the dog, but I didn't spot the dog either. I found 2 nuts.
Do you feel like if you had not stuck to your guns so much tonight, who do you think would be sitting here instead of you?
Mr. Mitzvah. I think it must have to be. I mean, he was sitting there with a blindfold over his face instead of trying to actually face his fears with the bees. And he was holding back the team. He was trying real hard to hit that button, but in doing so, he was just getting in the way of everyone else. And I don't think that a hero should behave by tying a blindfold around his head when he's scared of something. He's got to, face his fears and do what he has to do.
Your arm is made in Taiwan?
This armor was made in the future.
You really stayed on task with Mr. Long.
And I did. He kept asking me questions, and I gave him very short, very concise answers that he couldn't really talk back to me about.
Your time's up.
The wind tunnel challenge, that was a challenge.
You did a great job, and I saw your cape blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
You looked awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Thank
really cool.
you. Yeah. If I felt like I was in a Todd McFarlane drawing or something,
Yeah.
The cape just
Like
being
from
taken.
a Spawn cover.
Exactly.
Or something like that. I want to find out more about you. Like,
Sure.
Was there conflict with anyone?
There was a kind of a misunderstanding that happened between me and Miss Limelight. My own personal opinion is that she's a little bit fake. She was playing a role, and she was probably acting a little bit dumber than she was. And me personally, someone from my background, I was an intellectual growing up, and that was very difficult. And in a lot of ways, I feel like maybe she was too, but maybe she kind of bent to the pressure, kind of played the role, and just kind of let that part of herself kind of go.
I think it's a part that you're playing.
It was kind of a sore point, and I may have misspoken a little bit, and I may have not brought that across quite right.
Happy, kind of dumb. I think it's a role.
You were trying to bring out in her maybe the opportunity for her to not play that role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that she could maybe try to grow past that a little bit. And it's not being fake, it's a learned behavior, and there's a big difference. We all play roles.
Yeah.
Every day. We are who we choose to be, whether it's on a conscious level or not. And that's all that I meant. I just thought that, maybe the role she's playing is holding her back.
People don't know where I come from because people like you tell me I'm being silly and I'm playing a role. I'm trying to
And
be
it's either
dumb
something
for you.
that she needs to make peace with,
You don't know.
or something that she needs to change, one of the two. And it's pretty clear that she has not made peace with it, simply because of how much it upset her when I brought it up.
I remember when I was in the lair, I felt very much like I wanted to represent die-hard comic book fans who love comics, love the whole genre, and that they knew that there was someone there that was representing them. Did you ever feel like you were able to express, be Phil in a superhero costume, or did you feel like you were Mindset the whole time?
I felt like there was a pretty good mix, and in reality, Mindset is pretty much just me in an extreme. So in being Mindset, I was being Phil. Typically, whenever we're in a trial kind of situation, I'd be in character.
Yeah.
Back in the lair, I'd let it go and I'd let Phil out a little bit more. And I think I did have a pretty good balance. There's always friction, even among friends and family, and there was a little bit, but even then, I felt like there was this brotherhood there. We're all kind of in the same situation. Everything that was happening to me was happening to all of them too. They were in the exact same boat that I was, and there was definitely a bond there. I'm real happy with how my relationships with everyone in the lair has grown. Yeah, no, I have no regrets about that, certainly. I think we all pretty much had the exact same reaction, which was like, awesome, this means that the costume makeover is next. I mean, what else are they going to do? They're not going to have us run around
So
in this.
it was
So we were all a little bit psyched. That turned out to not be so cool, but,
Was it lavender? Because I saw a little bit of the white. So
it was
kind of like
it was this lavender cape, and I've got nothing against the color particularly. I really rather liked the blue.
I like the steel shoulder things. I know they were.
As did I.
I felt like you put a lot of thought into your costume.
definitely did. I definitely
You said,
did.
okay, I want to think of something that's different
Absolutely.
than I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
It was different than anything I'd ever seen anyone audition with or anything.
That was my entire goal.
It was big. It was bold. It kind of, it worked for your body type because it was large. So it kind of was just you looked like a very forceful presence to have to deal with. And I thought you did a great job on the costume.
Thank you. The costume, I'm sure, was a big part of me getting here. I mean, it was. There was a whole lot of work that went into the costume, and it was really good. I mean, it was,
And is.
and still is.
Yeah, I mean,
it will still need a new cape.
maybe the new fabric that you get will be able to enhance it even more.
Sure.
In some
yeah.
way.
Why not? Why not? Sure. Absolutely.
And you actually are studying to become a video game designer.
Oh yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, that's true. I'm very soon. I'll be getting my degree in
Cool.
game art and design. And I'm going to be I'm already a freelance modeler, texturer, and I love it. It took me kind of a little while to figure out what it was that I wanted to do with my life, but I figured that of all the different forms of media, film and TV and everything, video games is where you get the most real interaction with what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's even better when you make a video game, you're just creating this whole world for people to play in.
Phil, thanks so much for for sharing everything with us.
Thank you, Feedback.
I hope that it was a way to kind of get some stuff off your chest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun, and it's helped me to kind of process stuff. So
Great.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Well, Sci-Fi Channel and sci-fi.com viewers, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you next week at the after show, and someone else will be sitting in Phil's seat. We don't know who that is, but until next time,
For the future.
game on.
All right.
Yeah, no, it was great. I like your catchphrase too, because it is.
Thanks.
That's what you're doing.
Real, it's real multi-purpose.